I'm actually really excited to make this video. Welcome YouTube, this is going to be my very first episode review of the Digimon Adventure 2020 anime. We're going to start with episode 1 and probably go all the way to the end. And I am really late, but I wanted to wait until the series was pretty much done before I started this. I honestly really like reviewing things, and this gives me a good outlet to do that while staying in the Digimon space, which I'm tailoring to right now, while, having fun and watching shows. So spoiler warnings ahead. If you haven't seen the episode 1, you probably should, and then come back to this. But, there will be spoilers. I'm going to talk about the story, and then I'm going to talk about what I think about the story and the elements, and was it cohesive, was it good? And then I'm going to rate it out of 10 after, and let you know what I honestly think about it. Also, I am starting a new channel. That's right, a new channel, guys. I'm going to be starting a new channel where I'm going to be reviewing movies and popular TV shows that are coming out. Hopefully it takes off. If you guys could go over there, click the subscribe button, turn that notification bell so you know when I upload, and like and comment on anything that comes out, that would be really cool. I want this to take off. I think it'd be really fun and exciting, and it gives me a platform to actually review things on. So hopefully it works out. With that, episode 1. Episode 1, we're introduced to our main protagonist, Tai. He speaks to his mommy, and we meet his mommy on the train along with his sister, Kari. They're on the train, having a good time on the train. And then we're introduced to Izzy, who seems like he's going to be his best friend, and that's really cool. They discover that, there's some really interesting stuff going on in this city, power surges, and all sorts of weird, unexplainable phenomenon technologically. They go to the train station, and they start to realize that the train won't actually stop, and it'll crash, obviously causing an accident, obviously hurting or killing Tai's mother and sister. With that, Tai gets the urge to run towards the train, and then he disappears and lands into the virtual world. He sees a damaged Digimon, what ends up being a Koromon, and he does this awesome hero maneuver where he goes down there and touches the Koromon and reaches him, and then it evolves into Agamon, which is pretty Pogumon. Izzy manages to contact Tai in the digital world because he has one of those digivices that can let him do that, and then realizes that the phenomenon in digital world is directly affecting the real world. To resolve the issues and stop the train from colliding, Agamon and Tai have to defeat all the Argomons, and they make good progress doing that until the very last one, that evolves into a champion Argomon and seems to be winning over the battle, not to mention the train only increases in speed, which really puts a clock on the event. With the urgent need and climax approaching, Agamon Digivolves into Greymon, they fight, they beat the Argomon, and then the train stops before anyone gets hurt. We get a spoiler in the next episode that something is going on in the States, and we're introduced to this random edgy kid with his Garurumon, whose name is Matt. And we don't know that because the episode doesn't tell us, but we know it's Matt and Garurumon. As far as an entry into the Digimon Adventure reboot series, this was a pretty good start. They implemented something known as 3-act structure. For those of you that are unaware, basically a story is written in 3 acts. The first act is the setup, and it gives you the environment and what's going on and the start and everything you need to know. Then Act 2 is the confrontation where, battle and conflict actually happen. And then Act 3 is the climax, the big bad end, and the resolution, what happens. With plot points in the middle to just make the story a little more interesting. So if you look at the episode really carefully, the first act is setting up Tokyo with the crisis that they're having in the city, and then a plot point of the runaway train that Tai's sister and mother are stuck on. Obviously very dangerous, and Tai wants to go to get them. Act 2 is when he enters the digital world, and he comes across Koromon, evolves into Agumon, and realizes that he needs to battle the Argomons in order to resolve the issue. When a climax happens, we see that the train that his family is stuck on is only getting worse, and there's a really big problem he needs to resolve. And to top it off, an Argomon evolves into its next champion form, and this brings us to our climax, where Agamon evolves into Greymon, takes it out, and saves the day. It followed the Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 structure very well. It was done on point. There was a clear and concise beginning, middle, and end. And I really enjoy stories that implement this feature because honestly, it's really good to keep it organized. and it tells the story quite well. I also love little things they did here and there in the episode. They started off the episode with dial-up tones. They really wanted to hit you with the nostalgia in this episode. You know, for anyone that's been around for a long time and watched the original Digimon anime, you know, people remember the good old days of dial-up. People remember Agamon and Tai. And people got really excited when Agamon would digivolve into Greymon back in the day. And they did all of that in this episode. They hit you in the feels if you were an older person. Now, obviously, this was meant to also attract younger children into it, and they wouldn't be hit with such nostalgia. This would just be cool to watch. However, it can't ignore the fact that nostalgia happened. I was watching this episode and I was like, damn, look at this. I'm actually getting some feels right now. And you know, any story that can do that is well done. I thought they did a good job introducing the characters. Yeah, Tai, we know who Tai is. We all know who his sister and his mother is. We know that. They also introduced us to Izzy, who's probably going to be his best friend, or one of his best friends. You know, the aid, the support to help Tai on his endeavors. Obviously, he'll have a bigger role throughout. But it was nice that they introduced a little friend all of a sudden that could help him out. Very, very plot-driven, convenient, but really wholesome. And then we also got glimpses at the other main characters, and they gave us a hook at the end of the episode by introducing us to this mysterious character who we all know as Matt, and we don't know who he is. But, you know, all the new kids watching this will want to watch episode 2 to find out who he is and what's going on with that Digimon. And all of us OG people are all like, oh my god, it's Matt, what a badass, you know what I mean? And it's really cool how they use that hook to kind of, again, drive the nostalgia and just drive all the little kids to watch next episode to see what happens. I think this episode did a really good job at introducing the Digimon scene to us, the environment, the characters that'll have, you know, plot and story down the road. And we're invested now to see what happens. Tai's stuck in the digital world. We want to see what happens. We're inherently invested now into the story. And the first episode, honestly, was really well done. I'm going to give this score a nice 8 out of 10 to knock off the series. I thought I did everything pretty well. While it did give me emotion and gave me some really good feels-good moments, I wasn't 100% invested into it. It didn't grab my attention the entire time. I felt that there were a couple of moments of exposition that were going by really slowly, and I was just waiting for the next part, basically. Besides that, they drove the urgency of the story really well. They did set up the story. They set up the world for us to follow, and they gave us more to look forward to. 8 out of 10, really good episode. Would definitely watch it again, and cannot wait to watch episode 2. Now that I reviewed the episode, and for those of you that stuck around, thank you so much for sticking around. I really want to make more videos like this. So let me know in the comments if you really liked this kind of video. I got no problem doing this. It does play to my strengths of, you know, critiquing stories and storytelling and all that. But yeah, again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time. See ya!